First Peter 2:11 is another verse that's very commonly perverted, twisted by the mainstream pastors of this world, by the Pharisees of this world. And in First Peter 2:11 it says, "Dear friends, I urge you as aliens and strangers in this world to abstain from fleshly desires which war against your soul." So what are these fleshly desires, these ungodly desires, which are at war against the soul of mankind? Go to Leviticus 7:21, and there it says, "The soul of the man that touches the unclean thing will surely be put to death." So what 1 Peter 2:11 is referring to, the desire to abstain from, is the desire to touch the unclean thing. Because if you touch the unclean thing, you will surely be put to death. And so Peter is urging the brethren to abstain from this ungodly desire to touch the unclean thing. Now the question then arises, what is the unclean thing? Go back then to Isaiah 64:6, and there it is written, "All of man's good works are as an unclean thing before God." So the thing that we're to abstain from, the thing that God has set us apart from, God has sanctified our spirit, our soul. He has set it apart from the unclean thing, and rather unto Christ. Now those who are not saved, their spirit, their soul, is not been sanctified, has not been set apart from the unclean thing, and rather they lust, they desire for this unclean thing, so they can collect these works of mankind in their heart, in their soul, and then come before God in judgment day and say, "Lord, Lord, in your name we did all these good works." And Jesus will say to them, "Depart from me, I never knew you, doers of sin." You see, these people, their soul has touched the unclean thing. They have touched, they have kept, they have collected the works of mankind, which they think are good works, but before God, they are an unclean thing. And so the testimony of the gospel, the good news of the gospel, is that God has provided the works for us on the cross by sacrificing his own son, Jesus Christ. So if you believe the gospel, your soul, your spirit has been set apart from the unclean thing. It's been set apart from the works of mankind. And rather, by faith, you have received the works that God has provided on the cross. And so Jesus is our works. But if you deny the gospel, if you deny Jesus Christ is your works, and instead you collect your own works that you think are good works in your heart, well, then you will surely be put to death, because the soul that touches this unclean thing will be put to death, and the unclean thing is man's good works. That's why it's also written in 2 Corinthians 2:17, "Touch not the unclean thing, but be separate." In other words, we're to be set apart from this unclean thing. And that unclean thing, again, Isaiah 64:6, it says it's man's good works. That is what we're to abstain from. That is the war going on around us.